In the vast and silent expanse of space, aboard the research vessel Explorer Aaron Carter sat at his station, staring intently at the glowing screen in front of him. The hum of the ship's systems filled the quiet room, a comforting background noise that contrasted with the endless void outside. Aaron was a communications officer, skilled at picking up signals from the farthest reaches of the galaxy. His job was to listen, to sift through the static and noise for anything unusual or important. Today, however, something unusual had found him. It started as a faint blip on his monitor, barely noticeable among the countless other signals that passed through space every second. At first, Aaron thought it might be interference from nearby stars, or even a glitch in the equipment. But when he adjusted the settings and ran a deeper scan, the signal grew clearer. It wasn't random static or natural radiation. It was artificial. Someone, or something, had sent it. Aaron leaned forward in his chair, his heart beginning to race. He tapped a few commands into his console, isolating the signal and running it through filters to clean it up. The result was unmistakable. This was no ordinary transmission. It carried structure, patterns, and purpose. Aaron turned to Mia Lewis, who was seated at the neighboring workstation. She was an astrophysicist, calm and methodical, with a reputation for solving problems others couldn't. Her dark hair was tied back neatly, and her eyes were focused on her own screen, analyzing data about nearby star clusters. "Mia," Aaron said, his voice low but urgent, "you need to see this." Mia glanced over, raising an eyebrow. "What is it?" she asked, swiveling her chair to face him. Aaron gestured to his screen, where the signal was now displayed in sharp detail. Maya studied it for a moment, her expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "That's not normal," she murmured, leaning closer. "It's not like anything we've seen before." The two of them worked together to analyze the signal further. They cross-referenced it against known alien frequencies and human communication protocols, but nothing matched. It didn't belong to any species they'd encountered, nor did it resemble Earth's technology. Yet there was something familiar about it, a subtle hint of design that suggested intelligence behind its creation. The signal was coming from a distant sector of uncharted space, far beyond the boundaries of humanity's usual exploration routes. No one had ventured there in years, not since the last interstellar war left scars too deep for quick recovery. Word of the discovery spread quickly through the ship. Captain Eric Dawson, a tall man with graying hair and a commanding presence, arrived on the bridge shortly after hearing the news. He stood behind Aaron and Mia, listening as they explained their findings. His sharp blue eyes scanned the data on Aaron's screen, taking in every detail. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his tone measured but tinged with skepticism. "As sure as we can be," Maya replied. "It's definitely artificial, and it's moving. Whatever it is, it's not staying in one place." Captain Dawson frowned, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. The implications were enormous. If the signal came from an unknown alien civilization, it could mean either opportunity or danger. Humanity had made contact with several alien species over the centuries, some friendly and others hostile. Each encounter carried risks, and venturing into uncharted territory only increased those risks exponentially. On the other hand, ignoring the signal could mean missing out on valuable knowledge, or worse, allowing a potential threat to go unchecked. The crew gathered around, discussing their options. Some argued for caution, suggesting they observe the signal from a safe distance while gathering more information. Others pushed for immediate action, believing that hesitation could cost them a chance to make history. Jacob Hayes, the ship's tactical officer, voiced his concerns about safety. "We don't know what's out there," he said, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. "It could be a trap. We should proceed carefully." Rachel Monroe, the science specialist, countered with a different perspective. "But what if it's not a trap? What if it's something incredible? Something that could change everything we know about the universe?" Her enthusiasm was infectious, sparking nods of agreement from several crew members. After weighing the arguments, Captain Dawson made his decision. "We'll investigate," he announced firmly, "but we'll do it cautiously. Aaron, keep tracking the signal and give me updates every hour. Jacob, prepare the defense systems in case we run into trouble. Everyone else, stay alert." With that, the meeting dispersed, and the crew returned to their stations, buzzing with anticipation. As the Explorer adjusted its course and began moving toward the source of the signal, the mood aboard the ship shifted. Excitement mingled with unease as everyone wondered what awaited them. Would they find evidence of alien life, a new technology, or perhaps something entirely unexpected? For now, the answers remained hidden in the depths of space, wrapped in mystery and silence. Hours passed as the ship traveled closer to the signal's origin. The crew worked tirelessly, monitoring every instrument and preparing for whatever might come next. Finally, the moment arrived. Through the viewport, a shape emerged from the darkness, a massive object drifting silently against the backdrop of stars. It was larger than anyone had anticipated, its sleek metallic surface glinting faintly in the light of a distant sun. Weapons turrets lined its hull, and thrusters jutted out like fins, giving it an imposing, predatory appearance. "It's a warship," Jacob breathed, his voice tinged with awe and apprehension. Captain Dawson nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the sight before them. "And it looks fully equipped," he added, his tone heavy with implication. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. This was no ordinary discovery. Whoever, or whatever, had built this vessel clearly meant business. But the real question remained: whose side was it on? The crew of the Explorer stared in stunned silence at the massive warship looming ahead. Its presence was both awe-inspiring and unsettling, a stark reminder of the unknown dangers that lurked in the vastness of space. The ship's sleek design suggested advanced engineering far beyond anything humanity had achieved in recent decades. Its surface was smooth and metallic, reflecting faint glimmers of light from a distant star. Weapons turrets lined its hull, each one large enough to obliterate an entire fleet if necessary. Despite its size and apparent power, it drifted silently, as though abandoned. Captain Eric Dawson broke the silence first. "Scan it," he ordered, his voice steady but firm. "I want to know everything: size, armament, energy signatures, and find out if there's anyone aboard." His words snapped the crew into action. Aaron Carter, the communications officer, worked quickly to adjust the sensors, focusing them on the mysterious vessel. Mia Lewis, the astrophysicist, joined him, her fingers flying across her console as she analyzed the readings. The tension in the room was palpable as everyone waited for answers. After several minutes, Maya spoke up, her voice tinged with disbelief. "It's human," she said slowly, as though trying to process the revelation herself. "The energy signatures match Earth-based technology. It's using fusion reactors similar to the ones we've developed, but more advanced. This isn't alien. It's ours." The announcement sent a ripple of shock through the bridge. Jacob Hayes, the tactical officer, frowned deeply. "That can't be right," he muttered. "We haven't built anything like this in years. Where did it come from?" Mia shook her head, her brow furrowed in concentration. "I don't know, but the design is unmistakably human. Look at the layout, the thrusters, the weapon placements. They're all consistent with Earth's military standards. Just better." Captain Dawson stepped closer to the main screen, studying the image of the warship. "Any signs of life?" he asked, his tone sharp. Aaron hesitated before answering. "Negative, Captain. No heat signatures, no movement inside. If there's anyone aboard, they're either hiding or gone." The implications hung heavy in the air. A human warship, fully equipped and seemingly abandoned, floating in uncharted space. It defied logic. Humanity hadn't ventured this far into the galaxy in centuries, not since the last interstellar war drained resources and fractured alliances. The existence of such a vessel raised countless questions. Who had built it? Why was it here? And most importantly, what had happened to its crew? Rachel Monroe, the science specialist, stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. "We need to get closer," she said firmly. "If we board it, we might find answers. There could be logs, data, anything that explains what this thing is doing out here." Jacob immediately objected. "Are you serious? That ship is armed to the teeth. Even if it's abandoned, we don't know what kind of traps or automated defenses it might have. Walking onto it blind is suicide." Rachel crossed her arms, refusing to back down. "And staying out here does what? Leaves us guessing. We're explorers, Jacob. This is why we're out here, to uncover mysteries. Besides, if it's really human, we owe it to ourselves to figure out what happened." Captain Dawson listened to their arguments, his expression unreadable. He knew Rachel was right. They couldn't ignore the opportunity to learn more, but Jacob's concerns were valid. Boarding an unknown warship carried enormous risks, especially when they had no idea what they might face inside. After a long pause, he finally nodded. "We'll send a team," he decided, "but we'll do it carefully. Jacob, you're coming with me. Rachel, too. You'll help analyze whatever we find. Daniel Ross will join us as well. If there's anything mechanical or technical to figure out, he's our best bet." The decision was met with mixed reactions. Some crew members nodded in agreement, while others exchanged worried glances. Still, orders were orders, and preparations began immediately. The team gathered equipment, portable scanners, flashlights, and handheld defense weapons, and suited up in protective gear. As they prepared to leave the safety of the Explorer *, Captain Dawson gave them one final warning. "Stay sharp," he said, his voice low but commanding. "We don't know what we're walking into. Stick together, and don't touch anything unless I say so." The boarding party crossed over to the warship using magnetic tethers, their boots clinking softly against the metal hull as they landed. The surface was cold and silent, devoid of any signs of activity. The only sound came from their breathing inside their helmets and the faint hum of their suits' life support systems. Jacob led the way, holding a scanner in one hand and a weapon in the other. Behind him, Rachel followed closely, her eyes darting around as she tried to take in every detail. They reached an airlock and activated the manual override. With a hiss of decompression, the door slid open, revealing a dark corridor beyond. The interior of the ship was eerily quiet, the walls covered in a thin layer of dust that suggested years, or even decades, of abandonment. Emergency lights flickered weakly along the ceiling, casting long shadows that danced across the floor. The air smelled stale, carrying a faint metallic tang that made Rachel wrinkle her nose. "This place gives me the creeps," Daniel whispered, his voice barely audible over the comms. He adjusted the settings on his scanner, trying to detect any hidden threats. No life signs, but the power grid seems partially active. Some systems are still running. "Keep moving," Captain Dawson urged, his flashlight cutting through the darkness as he led the way deeper into the ship. The corridors were wide and utilitarian, designed for efficiency rather than comfort. Panels lined the walls, many of them cracked or blackened as though damaged by some past event. Rachel stopped near one of the panels, brushing away the dust to reveal faded markings beneath. Her breath caught in her throat. "Captain," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "you need to see this." She pointed to the insignia etched into the panel, a symbol they didn't recognize. It depicted a globe encircled by stars, with the words United Earth Fleet written below it in bold letters. "United Earth Fleet," Jacob echoed, frowning. "What is that? I've never heard of it." "Neither have I," Rachel admitted, her mind racing. "But it looks official. Whoever built this ship, they weren't just some rogue faction. This was organized, military grade." Captain Dawson studied the insignia for a moment before nodding. "Let's keep going," he said. "If there are logs or records aboard, They'll tell us more. As they moved further into the ship, the sense of unease grew stronger. Doors slid open automatically as they approached, revealing empty rooms filled with dormant equipment. In one chamber, they found rows of cryogenic pods, their glass surfaces cracked and fogged. Whatever purpose they had once served, they were now useless. In another room, screens flickered to life as Daniel tapped a console, displaying fragmented images of star charts and mission logs. Each discovery added pieces to the puzzle, but the full picture remained elusive. Finally, they reached what appeared to be the ship's command center. The room was dominated by a large holographic display, currently inactive. Dust-covered chairs surrounded a central console, and the walls were lined with monitors showing static. Rachel approached the console cautiously, brushing away the grime to reveal control panels beneath. "This might be our best chance to access the ship's database," she said, her fingers hovering over the keys. "Be careful," Captain Dawson warned, keeping a watchful eye on the entrances. "We don't know what kind of security measures are still active." With a deep breath, Rachel pressed a button. The holographic display sprang to life, bathing the room in soft blue light. Lines of text scrolled across the projection, detailing the ship's mission and history. As the crew gathered around to read, their faces grew pale with shock. This wasn't just any human warship. It was a relic from the future, sent on a desperate quest to save humanity from extinction. As the holographic display flickered to life in the dimly lit command center, Rachel Monroe's fingers hovered over the console, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. The text scrolling across the projection was fragmented, but enough details came through to paint a chilling picture. This wasn't just a warship. It was a vessel built for survival. Its mission logs spoke of a catastrophic event called the Great Collapse, during which humanity had nearly wiped itself out due to internal conflicts and resource shortages. Survivors banded together under the banner of something called the United Earth Fleet, pooling their remaining resources to construct ships like this one. Their goal: to find new worlds capable of sustaining human life. Captain Eric Dawson stood nearby, his sharp eyes scanning the information as it appeared. "So this ship, it's from the future?" he asked, his voice low and measured. Rachel nodded slowly, her mind racing to process what she was seeing. "It looks that way. These logs are dated centuries ahead of our time. They were desperate, building ships like this to escape Earth before it became uninhabitable." Jacob Hayes, the tactical officer, frowned deeply, his hand resting on the grip of his weapon. "If this is true, then why is it here? Why isn't it where it's supposed to be?" "That's the question, isn't it?" Captain Dawson replied grimly. He turned back to Rachel. "Can you access more? Anything about what happened to the crew?" Rachel hesitated, her fingers moving cautiously over the controls. She didn't want to trigger any hidden systems or defenses that might still be active aboard the ship. After a few tense moments, additional data began to appear on the hologram. Fragments of personal logs hinted at infighting within the United Earth Fleet. Some factions had sought to monopolize the ship's advanced technology, leading to betrayal and chaos. The final entries were cryptic, suggesting the Vanguard *, as the ship was named, had been sabotaged or abandoned during a mutiny. Daniel Ross, the young engineer, knelt beside another console, examining its components. "This place feels like a ghost town," he murmured, running his gloved hand over the dusty surface. "But the power grid is still partially operational. Whoever left must have done so in a hurry. Or they didn't leave at all," Jacob added darkly, his gaze sweeping the room. "We haven't found bodies yet, but that doesn't mean there aren't any." The thought sent a shiver down everyone's spines. Despite the lack of immediate danger, the oppressive silence of the ship weighed heavily on them. Every step they took echoed eerily through the corridors, and every shadow seemed to hold the promise of unseen threats. Still, they pressed on, driven by the need to uncover the truth. Rachel continued sifting through the data, piecing together fragments of the story. One log caught her attention, a recorded message from someone identified as Commander Laura Bennett, The captain of the Vanguard *. The timestamp indicated it had been made shortly before the ship went dark. Rachel glanced at Captain Dawson. "There's a recording here. Should we play it?" Dawson nodded. "Do it, but stay ready for anything." With a deep breath, Rachel activated the playback. A holographic figure materialized above the console, a woman in a military uniform, her expression weary but determined. Her voice filled the room, carrying a weight of urgency and regret. "To whoever finds this message," Commander Bennett began, "if you're hearing this, then my crew and I have failed. Humanity's survival depends on the success of missions like ours, but greed and division have doomed us once again. Factions within the United Earth Fleet sought control of our resources, turning allies into enemies. We fought to protect the future of our species, but in the end, we couldn't overcome ourselves." She paused, her holographic image flickering slightly. The Vanguard * carries technology that could transform barren planets into thriving ecosystems. It also holds weapons capable of unimaginable destruction. Use them wisely, or not at all. Do not let history repeat itself. If you can, carry the torch of hope further than we did. Find a new home and build a better world. The message ended abruptly, leaving the room in stunned silence. Rachel felt a lump rise in her throat as she stared at the empty space where the hologram had been. The weight of the commander's words hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder of humanity's flaws and potential. Captain Dawson broke the silence first. "So this is what we're dealing with," he said, his tone somber. "A ship full of hope and failure. What do we do now?" Jacob tightened his grip on his weapon. "We secure it. Whatever's aboard this ship, it's dangerous. Those weapons alone could start another war if they fall into the wrong hands." Rachel shook her head vehemently. "No, we can't just lock it away. This ship represents a second chance. For everyone. Think about the terraforming equipment. Think about how many lives we could save if we brought this technology back to Earth. But at what cost?" Jacob shot back. "You heard the commander. Greed destroy them. How do we know it won't happen again?" Captain Dawson raised a hand to silence the argument. "Enough. Both of you make valid points, but we don't have time to debate ethics right now. Our priority is to stabilize the ship and assess its condition. Daniel, see if you can bring the core systems fully online. Rachel, keep digging into those logs. We need to understand everything we're working with. Jacob, stay alert. I don't trust this place." The team dispersed to their tasks, each member grappling with the enormity of their discovery. Daniel worked tirelessly at the engineering station, rerouting power and bypassing damaged circuits. Sparks flew occasionally as he coaxed ancient systems back to life, but progress was slow and painstaking. Meanwhile, Rachel delved deeper into the ship's database, uncovering schematics and technical manuals that hinted at the Vanguard *''s incredible capabilities. As hours passed, the ship began to respond to their efforts. Lights flickered brighter, and dormant systems awakened one by one. The hum of machinery grew louder, filling the eerie silence with a sense of cautious optimism. For the first time since boarding, the Vanguard * felt less like a tomb and more like a vessel waiting to fulfill its purpose. Captain Dawson watched it all unfold, his expression thoughtful. He knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, both practical and moral. But for now, they had taken the first step toward unlocking the secrets of the Vanguard *. Whether those secrets would lead to salvation or disaster remained to be seen. But one thing was certain. Humanity's future had just become infinitely more complicated. As the Vanguard * slowly came back to life, the boarding team worked with a mix of awe and unease. The ship's systems responded sluggishly at first, but Daniel Ross's steady hands brought them closer to full functionality. Lights brightened in the corridors, casting away some of the shadows that had made the vessel feel like a ghostly relic. Monitors blinked on, displaying cryptic readouts and diagrams that hinted at the ship's advanced capabilities. Rachel Monroe stayed glued to the command center console, sifting through more data as it became accessible. Each new piece of information painted a clearer picture of the Vanguard Asterisk's purpose and its tragic past. The logs revealed details about the terraforming equipment stored aboard the ship. These machines were designed to transform barren planets into lush, habitable worlds. They could alter atmospheres, stabilize climates, and even introduce plant and animal life. It was technology far beyond anything humanity currently possessed, a gift that could save billions from starvation, overcrowding, and environmental collapse. But alongside these wonders were reminders of the dangers. The weapons systems were equally advanced, capable of leveling entire cities or wiping out fleets with ease. The Vanguard wasn't just a tool for survival. It was also a weapon of war. Captain Eric Dawson watched silently as his crew worked, his mind racing with possibilities. He understood the stakes better than anyone. Bringing this technology back to Earth could change everything, for good or ill. Governments would fight over control of the Vanguard and the same greed that doomed its original crew might repeat itself. Yet, leaving the ship here felt wrong. Its creators had risked everything to build it, hoping to give humanity a second chance. Could they really turn their backs on that? Jacob Hayes remained on edge, his eyes constantly scanning the dark corners of the ship. Despite the growing sense of familiarity, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. "We're pushing our luck," he muttered under his breath, speaking to no one in particular. "This place is too quiet. Too perfect." Rachel overheard him and glanced up from her work. "Perfect?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "You think this is perfect?" "I didn't say perfect," Jacob replied, lowering his voice. "I said it feels staged, like we're walking into something we don't fully understand." Rachel frowned but didn't argue. She knew Jacob had a point. For all their progress, they still hadn't found any trace of the original crew. No bodies, no personal belongings, just logs and recordings left behind. It was as if the people who once manned the Vanguard had vanished without a trace. The thought sent a chill down her spine. Daniel called out from across the room, breaking the tension. "Captain, I think I've got the main power core stabilized." He pointed to a large console glowing faintly with blue light. "If we reroute energy to the auxiliary systems, we can bring the rest of the ship online." Captain Dawson nodded, stepping closer to examine the setup. "Good work, Daniel. Let's do it. But keep an eye on the readings. We don't want to overload anything." With careful adjustments, Daniel activated the auxiliary systems. The hum of machinery grew louder, and sections of the ship began functioning again. Doors slid open automatically, revealing rooms filled with dormant equipment. In one chamber, they discovered rows of storage pods containing seeds, embryos, and samples of Earth's flora and fauna. Another room housed massive tanks filled with nutrient-rich solutions designed to sustain crops during long voyages. Every discovery reinforced the idea that the Vanguard was built for a singular mission, to ensure humanity's survival. But not all the findings were hopeful. In a heavily secured compartment near the ship's rear, they uncovered racks of missiles and energy-based weapons. Their designs were sleek and futuristic, unlike anything used by Earth's current militaries. Jacob examined them closely, his expression grim. "These aren't defensive," he said after a moment. "They're meant to obliterate entire targets. Planets, maybe even moons." Rachel swallowed hard, realizing the implications. "So this ship wasn't just about finding a new home," she murmured. "It was prepared to fight for it, if necessary." Captain Dawson nodded solemnly. "Survival often comes at a cost. The question is whether we're willing to pay it." As the hours passed, the team uncovered more fragments of the Vanguard history. Personal logs from the crew painted a picture of desperation and hope. Some entries spoke of families left behind on a dying Earth, while others expressed fear about the factions within the United Earth Fleet. There were mentions of sabotage, betrayal, and mutiny. One log stood out, a final message from a junior officer named Alex Carter. "To whoever finds us." Alex wrote, "I don't know if anyone survived. If you're reading this, then things went worse than we imagined. Trust no one, not even those who claim to share your goals. Humanity is its own worst enemy. Please, don't let us have died in vain." The words hit the team hard, reminding them of the fragility of human unity. Captain Dawson took a deep breath, addressing his crew. "We need to make a decision," he said firmly. "This ship represents both opportunity and danger. Bringing it back to Earth means risking another cycle of greed and conflict. Leaving it here means abandoning a chance to save countless lives. What do we do?" Rachel stepped forward, her voice steady despite the weight of the situation. "We can't go back empty-handed," she argued. "This technology could solve so many problems, but we can't trust governments or corporations with it either. We need to use it ourselves, to start fresh somewhere else. Find a planet, terraform it, and build a new society, one that avoids the mistakes of the past." Jacob shook his head. "That's easier said than done. Do we even have the right to play God? And what happens if someone follows us? This ship isn't invisible." Captain Dawson considered their arguments carefully. Finally, he spoke. "Rachel's suggestion has merit," he admitted. "Using the Vanguard to colonize a distant world could be our best option. But it won't be easy. We'll need volunteers from the Explorer's crew, and we'll have to leave behind everything we know. Are we ready for that?" The question hung in the air, unanswered. Each member of the team wrestled with their own doubts and fears. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, there was a glimmer of hope. The Vanguard offered a chance to rewrite history, a chance to prove that humanity could rise above its flaws. As they stood in the heart of the ancient warship, surrounded by echoes of the past, they knew one thing for certain: their journey was only beginning. The decision made, the team returned to the Explorer to prepare for the next phase. They would reactivate the Vanguard completely and set course for a promising star system identified in the ship's database. Though the path ahead was fraught with challenges, the promise of a brighter future kept them moving forward. Together, they carried the torch of hope Commander Laura Bennett had spoken of, a fragile flame in the vast darkness of space. The decision to use the Vanguard as a vessel for humanity's renewal was both thrilling and daunting. Back aboard the Explorer Captain Eric Dawson called a meeting with the entire crew. The room buzzed with tension as people gathered, their faces reflecting a mix of curiosity, fear, and determination. Dawson stood at the front, his tall frame commanding attention as he explained the situation. He didn't sugarcoat the risks. This mission would require leaving behind everything familiar. They would venture into uncharted space, carrying the hopes of a species on their shoulders. "We have a choice," Dawson began, his voice steady but firm. "We can return to Earth and hand over the Vanguard to governments that might misuse its power, or worse, destroy each other fighting for control. Or we can take this ship and use it to start anew. Find a new home. Build a society free from the mistakes of the past." The crew listened intently, some nodding in agreement while others exchanged uneasy glances. Rachel Monroe stepped forward, her passion evident in every word she spoke. "This is our chance to make a difference," she urged. "The technology aboard the Vanguard could save billions. We owe it to future generations to try, to give them a world worth living in." Jacob Hayes countered her optimism with caution. "It's not that simple," he argued. "Starting over means leaving Earth behind. It means cutting ties with everyone we know. And what happens if we fail? What if we run into trouble out there, or if someone follows us? This isn't just about hope, it's about survival." Despite the differing opinions, the majority of the crew agreed that staying true to the Vanguard's original purpose was the right path. Volunteers stepped forward, ready to join the mission. Some were driven by idealism, eager to create a better world. Others saw no future worth returning to on an overcrowded, resource-depleted Earth. Together, they formed a team united by a shared goal: to carry humanity's torch into the unknown. With the decision made, preparations began immediately. The two ships, the Explorer and the Vanguard were brought closer together, connected by magnetic tethers to facilitate the transfer of supplies and personnel. Daniel Ross worked tirelessly alongside the engineering teams, ensuring the Vanguard systems were fully operational. Its fusion reactors hummed with energy, powering up life support, navigation, and terraforming equipment. The weapon systems remained offline, locked away as a precaution against misuse. Mia Lewis coordinated efforts to chart the best course for their journey. Using data from the Vanguard database, she identified several star systems with planets that showed potential for terraforming. One system, located near the edge of explored space, stood out as particularly promising. A planet orbiting a stable star had conditions close enough to Earth's that, with the right modifications, it could become habitable within years rather than decades. Mia presented her findings to the captain, who approved the destination without hesitation. As the final checks were completed, emotions ran high among the crew. Families said goodbye through video messages, knowing they might never see each other again. For many, the weight of their decision hit hardest during these moments. Aaron Carter, the communications officer, recorded a message for his younger sister back on Earth. His voice cracked slightly as he promised her that their sacrifice wouldn't be in vain. "We're doing this for you," he told her. "For everyone. I hope one day you'll understand." On the Vanguard the atmosphere shifted from eerie silence to a sense of cautious optimism. Crew members moved through the corridors, bringing the ship to life. Rooms once filled with dust now bustled with activity. Stores of food, water, and medical supplies were organized, and sleeping quarters were prepared for the long voyage ahead. Despite the challenges, there was a palpable sense of purpose. This wasn't just another mission, it was a leap of faith. Rachel spent hours reviewing the Vanguard schematics, studying how its systems worked and planning for contingencies. She pored over Commander Laura Bennett's logs, searching for any clues about the ship's weaknesses or hidden dangers. Her diligence paid off when she discovered a secondary command center deep within the vessel, a backup in case the primary bridge was compromised. Knowing this gave her peace of mind. If something went wrong, they had options. Jacob, meanwhile, focused on security. He led drills to prepare the crew for emergencies, teaching them how to handle potential threats. Though the ship appeared abandoned, he couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't alone. Every shadow seemed darker, every sound louder. He reminded himself, and the crew, that vigilance was key. "We don't know what we're walking into," he warned during one training session. "Stay sharp, stay together, and trust no one outside this group." Finally, the day of departure arrived. Both ships disengaged from their tethers, and the Vanguard took the lead, its massive engines glowing brightly as it powered forward. The Explorer followed closely behind, serving as both escort and backup. As they left familiar space behind, the crew gathered on the Vanguard observation deck to watch the stars stretch and blur as they entered faster-than-light travel. For the first time in days, a sense of wonder replaced the anxiety that had gripped them. Captain Dawson addressed the crew one last time before settling into the voyage. "This is it," he said, his tone filled with quiet pride. "We're pioneers now, stepping into the unknown. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. Let's honor those who came before us, the ones who built this ship and dreamed of a better future. Let's prove that humanity can rise above its flaws." The words resonated deeply with everyone present. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they also knew they weren't alone. Bound by a shared vision, they set their sights on the distant star system, carrying the fragile flame of hope into the vast expanse of space. Whatever lay ahead, they were ready to face it together. The journey to the distant star system was long and filled with moments of both tension and quiet reflection. The Vanguard moved steadily through the vastness of space, its powerful engines humming softly as it carried its crew toward a new beginning. Behind it, the Explorer followed like a loyal companion, its presence a comforting reminder that they weren't entirely alone in their mission. Days turned into weeks, and the monotony of travel began to settle over the crew. Yet beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of anticipation. Each passing moment brought them closer to their destination and to the unknown challenges that awaited. Life aboard the Vanguard quickly fell into a rhythm. Meals were shared in the ship's mess hall, where conversations ranged from lighthearted jokes to deep discussions about the future. Rachel Monroe often found herself at the center of these talks, her enthusiasm for the mission infectious. She spoke passionately about the possibilities of terraforming, painting vivid pictures of lush green landscapes and clear blue skies. "Imagine it," she would say, her eyes lighting up. "A world where we don't have to fight over resources, where everyone has enough food, water, and space to live peacefully." But not everyone shared her optimism. Jacob Hayes remained cautious, his instincts keeping him on edge. He spent much of his time patrolling the ship's corridors, checking for any signs of malfunction or hidden dangers. Though the Vanguard was advanced, it was also old, and its systems occasionally showed signs of wear. A minor coolant leak in one of the engine rooms kept the engineering team busy for hours, reminding everyone how fragile their situation truly was. Daniel Ross worked tirelessly alongside the engineers, ensuring the ship remained in top condition. His hands-on approach earned him respect from the crew, who admired his determination and skill. Late at night, he could often be found tinkering with equipment or reviewing schematics, determined to understand every detail of the Vanguard's design. "This ship is incredible," he once told Rachel during a rare break. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before, but it's also unpredictable. We need to stay ready for anything." As the voyage continued, Captain Eric Dawson made it a point to connect with each member of the crew. He understood the importance of morale on such a critical mission and made sure no one felt isolated or overwhelmed. During one-on-one conversations, he listened to their concerns and offered words of encouragement. To Aaron Carter, who missed his family back on Earth, Dawson said simply, "You're doing this for them. Every step we take brings us closer to a better future, for them and for everyone else." Mia Lewis monitored their progress closely, analyzing data from the ship's sensors and adjusting their course as needed. Her calm demeanor helped steady the nerves of those around her, especially when unexpected obstacles arose. Once, the ships encountered a dense field of micrometeoroids, forcing them to alter their trajectory temporarily. Another time, a sudden solar flare disrupted communications between the Vanguard and the Explorer . Each incident tested the crew's resolve, but they handled them with professionalism and teamwork. Despite the challenges, there were moments of joy and camaraderie. The crew celebrated small victories, like successfully repairing a faulty air filtration system or completing a routine maintenance check ahead of schedule. On quieter days, some gathered in the observation deck to gaze at the stars streaking past. The view never failed to inspire awe, reminding them of the enormity of their undertaking. As they neared the target star system, excitement began to build. Maya announced that they would reach the planet within a few days, and preparations intensified. Supplies were double-checked, equipment was tested, and landing protocols were reviewed. Rachel pored over the terraforming plans, fine-tuning the process to account for the planet's unique conditions. "We'll start with the atmosphere," she explained during a briefing. "Once we stabilize it, we can introduce plant life and gradually build ecosystems. It won't happen overnight, but every step will bring us closer to making this place home." Jacob led final drills to ensure the crew was prepared for any scenario upon arrival. "We don't know what we'll find down there," he reminded them. It might be peaceful, or it might not. Stay alert and follow orders without question. On the eve of their arrival, the crew gathered in the Vanguard main lounge for a final meeting. Captain Dawson addressed them, his voice filled with pride and determination. "Tomorrow, we begin the next chapter of humanity's story," he said. "This isn't just about us. It's about everyone who comes after. Let's honor their trust by doing our best. No matter what happens, remember why we're here. Together, we can create something extraordinary." The room erupted in applause, and for a brief moment, all doubts and fears seemed to fade. They were united by a common purpose, bound by the hope of a brighter future. As the meeting ended, many lingered, sharing stories and laughter. Others retreated to their quarters, lost in thought, as they contemplated the days ahead. That night, Rachel stood alone on the observation deck, staring out at the endless expanse of stars. She thought about Commander Laura Bennett and the original crew of the Vanguard wondering if they had felt the same mix of hope and uncertainty. In her heart, she vowed to carry their legacy forward, to prove that humanity could learn from its mistakes and strive for something greater. When morning came, the planet loomed large in the viewport, a barren yet promising world waiting to be transformed. The Vanguard descended slowly, its thrusters kicking up clouds of dust as it touched down on the surface. The crew disembarked cautiously, stepping onto alien soil for the first time. Around them, the landscape stretched endlessly, desolate but full of potential. Captain Dawson took a deep breath, savoring the moment. "Let's get to work," he said, his voice steady. With those words, the crew sprang into action, unloading equipment and setting up temporary shelters. The terraforming process began immediately, machines whirring to life as they started altering the atmosphere. It was the first step toward building a new home, a testament to humanity's resilience and determination. Though the road ahead would be long and challenging, the crew faced it with unwavering resolve. They had left behind everything familiar, carrying only hope and the tools to create a better world. And as they worked together under the alien sun, they knew they were part of something far greater than themselves. Humanity's future rested in their hands, and they were ready to shape it, one step at a time. The first days on the alien planet were a whirlwind of activity. The crew of the Vanguard worked tirelessly, transforming the barren landscape into a canvas for humanity's second chance. Giant machines hummed and whirred as they pumped oxygen-rich gases into the atmosphere, slowly thickening it to make it breathable. Massive drills carved channels into the rocky terrain, redirecting water from underground reservoirs to create rivers and lakes. Seeds stored in cryogenic pods were carefully planted in nutrient-rich soil, their tiny sprouts symbolizing new life. Rachel Monroe oversaw the terraforming efforts, her energy infectious. She moved between teams, checking progress and offering guidance. Her knowledge of ecosystems proved invaluable as she coordinated planting cycles and monitored environmental changes. "This is just the beginning," she told anyone who would listen. "In a few years, this place will look completely different. Trees, grasslands, even wildlife. We'll bring it all back." But while Rachel focused on the future, others couldn't help but feel the weight of their isolation. Aaron Carter spent hours staring at the horizon, his thoughts drifting to Earth and the family he'd left behind. He tried to stay busy, assisting with communications and documenting the mission, but there were moments when the silence of the planet pressed heavily on him. At night, he often joined Daniel Ross in the makeshift engineering bay, where they tinkered with equipment or simply talked about home. Daniel, too, felt the strain of their situation, though he hid it well. His hands were always moving, fixing broken parts or improving existing systems. He found comfort in the familiar rhythm of work, losing himself in the details of the Vanguard machinery. Still, there were times when exhaustion caught up with him, and he allowed himself to wonder if they'd made the right choice. "Do you ever think about going back?" he asked Aaron one evening, his voice barely above a whisper. Aaron hesitated before answering. Sometimes, he admitted, but I don't know what we'd go back to. Earth isn't the same anymore. Maybe this is our best shot. Jacob Hayes remained vigilant, his instincts keeping him on high alert. Though the planet appeared uninhabited, he couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't alone. Every rustle of wind or shadow cast by the setting sun sent his mind racing with possibilities. He organized regular patrols around the perimeter of their base, ensuring no threats lurked nearby. Better safe than sorry, he muttered to himself, scanning the horizon through binoculars. Despite his vigilance, the crew faced challenges that had nothing to do with unseen dangers. Equipment malfunctions were frequent, forcing them to improvise repairs with limited resources. Once, a sudden storm damaged several of the atmospheric processors, threatening to undo weeks of progress. The team worked around the clock to fix the machines, their determination unwavering. When the processors roared back to life, cheers erupted across the camp, a small victory in the face of overwhelming odds. Captain Eric Dawson kept a close eye on morale, knowing how fragile it could be in such an uncertain environment. He held daily meetings to discuss progress and address concerns, making sure everyone felt heard. During one meeting, Mia Lewis presented updated data showing promising improvements in the planet's conditions. The atmosphere is stabilizing faster than expected, she reported, her voice filled with cautious optimism. If this trend continues, we might be able to introduce animal species sooner than planned. The news lifted spirits, sparking renewed enthusiasm among the crew. They began imagining what their new world might look like, not just as a habitable planet, but as a thriving community. Some sketched designs for permanent settlements, envisioning homes built from local materials and powered by renewable energy. Others brainstormed ways to preserve Earth's culture and history, suggesting libraries and museums to honor their origins. Yet not all discussions were optimistic. As the reality of their mission sank in, ethical questions arose. What kind of society should they build? How could they avoid repeating the mistakes of the past? These debates often spilled into late-night conversations around the campfire, where differing viewpoints clashed, but ultimately strengthened their resolve. Rachel advocated for a cooperative model, where resources were shared equally and decisions were made collectively. We have a chance to start fresh, she argued. Let's create something fair and sustainable. Jacob countered with pragmatism. Idealism won't keep us alive, he said bluntly. Rules are important, but so is security. We need structure, laws, leadership, accountability. Captain Dawson listened carefully, weighing both sides. We'll find a balance, he promised, something that works for everyone. But remember, this isn't just about us. It's about the generations who will come after us. Let's give them a foundation to build on. As weeks turned into months, the planet began to change. Patches of green dotted the landscape, and streams flowed freely, carving paths through the once barren ground. Birds released from the Vanguard aviary took to the skies, their calls echoing across the plains. Life was taking root, fragile yet persistent. One evening, the crew gathered to watch the sunset. The sky glowed orange and pink, a stark contrast to the dull gray it had been when they arrived. For the first time in months, laughter filled the air, unburdened by worry or doubt. Captain Dawson stood quietly, observing his team. They had endured so much: loss, fear, uncertainty, but they had also grown stronger together. This is just the beginning, he said finally, breaking the silence. We've taken the first steps, but there's still a long road ahead. Let's keep moving forward, one day at a time. The words resonated deeply, reminding them of why they had come here. They weren't just survivors. They were pioneers, shaping a new chapter in humanity's story. And though the challenges were far from over, they faced them with hope, resilience, and unity. Together, they had carried the torch of hope into the unknown. And they weren't about to let it go out.